tuned to Evergreen Media Network. I am Cindy Schwartz, and this is our Veterans Voice radio show. And your host, Ralph Nathan Oko.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to make you laugh. I'm 81 and a half years old, and I've been looking forward to this show to share with you. And Cindy, you'll see where I'm coming from in a minute. But I've been a little boy for the last 3-4 weeks, knowing we're going to present this show to you today, Saturday, July 11th. It's like a little kid that the mommy and daddy say, if you behave, we're going to take you to a candy store and you can have whatever you want. Today, I'm getting my candies. And the reason is, 2 weeks ago, we did a show for you and shared it with you about the American flag. Last week, we gave you the professor educational point of view and then the entertainment point of view of the symbolism of the happy birthday, the 250 commemoration of the birth of our nation.
Yeah.
But today, Cindy, where were you last week?
I was actually at the State Fair, the American State Fair.
The Great
in
American
DC.
State Fair. Everybody, I was there in absentia. I was there as if I was in a papoose and Cindy was carrying me. So we're going to have a conversation, Cindy and I, and Cindy is going to enlighten you about the Great American State Fair. I got a ton of questions. I did not make a list. I did not want to make this anything but a literally shoot from the hip, from the heart, and from the brain, a conversation of two people that are in love with the United States of America. So, Cindy, thank you for acquiescing, and thank you for including me every day, when you were there, as far with pictures, and then today for sharing it. So, how far in advance did you plan to attend this state fair?
I want to say a year in advance.
And I did not
decided.
know it even a year ago. I didn't even know anything about it.
Yeah, my daughter did a lot of the stuff, so we got the hotel and all that, and reasonable prices a year ago.
How unreasonable did the prices become?
Quadruple what we paid.
Wow.
If you waited till the last minute, but quadruple, yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, that means that if you're in Washington, D.C., and you get a $250 room a year ago, quadruple means $1,000.
Yep.
And I have a problem with that. They're complaining about gas companies gouging or the grocery stores changing the prices electronically, but nobody says anything about the soccer games or Super Bowl or the World Series and everything jacked up. Why? Because I'm the only... everybody wants water, and I'm in the desert, and I got the water. You want it, you pay for it. So anyway... Now, so you planned ahead, and now you went, and then your daughter and any grandchildren?
No, they're in California.
So the two of you, mom and daughter. That was special too.
It was special.
Yeah.
We had some friends and stuff that were already there from another section of the country, but the only family one with my daughter and I. It wasn't. Ralph, I told you this in the text and the phone conversation that it was extraordinary. It was so well done. The press I've heard, good and bad, I was there. It was so well done.
Let me ask you, was there any particular person or committee or something that was in charge?
There was. It wasn't the Forest Service, because we talked with a lady about it with some of the stuff that was going on, and they said, no, it was a private contracted out. But they thought of, whoever did it.
Well planned.
Totally well planned and very genuine and very, not legitimate isn't the right word.
Authentic.
But, authentic. That's the right word.
Okay.
Totally authentic.
Okay, now, and by the way, everybody, if you're thirsting for these answers, so am I. So this is not pre-rehearsed. Cindy has no clue, because I have no clue what I'm going to ask her. There's so many questions I have. So now they planned it a year and a half in advance. Who paid for this, by the way? Who paid for the entire fair?
To do the whole entire fair? I don't know.
I would imagine.
I don't know.
We the people.
No, I don't know.
Okay. Now, was there admission fees to the different pavilions?
No, everything was free.
Everything was free.
The Ferris wheel, all the pavilions were free. Everything was free.
Okay. How does the Ferris wheel compare to the one you saw in 1893 in Chicago?
Yeah, I know. I wish I would have saw that one. But this one was huge. With that, I did not get to do. I wanted to. We were going to go back Sunday
Lines?
and do it. But no, the line, no, it was so well done. It wasn't, no.
Really?
But it was just, there was so much stuff that you couldn't do everything.
Okay, now, the state fair, describe, from what I read, there's a big puddle of water. You got the National Mall, and then you got tents or pavilions going all the way like in a rectangular area. Mm-hmm. And now, at the beginning, there were all the 50 states and territories and so on. Mm-hmm. And then I understand there may be anywhere up to 10 to 12 or whatever states or territories or whatever that did not. When you were there, did you see all the pavilions?
So I actually interviewed the lady, I didn't get her name, from Kansas to ask some questions because we thought about that as well. So some of the ones were not physically, they were physically represented, but there wasn't a personal representative there for the states. Hawaii, Alaska, Guam, some of those like that. So the lady from Kansas said in their particular instance, and from what she understood in other states and territory instances, the governors decided they weren't spending the money to send anybody there.
Okay. That was one of the two reasons that, for my doing the research as to why some of the states or territories, etc., didn't attend. The two reasons were politics and money, not in that order.
Right. So some of it was political, which I don't want to get involved in it.
No, this is not a political show.
And Pennsylvania stepped up. The one Kansas, they totally stepped up. And when she said what they did is, and I don't know who they is, it was a group of constituents or whoever it was decided, well, we're going. We're going to figure this out. And we're going to get the money from somewhere if that's what the money is. And a gentleman that was there in the conversation with us said, you, as a state, missed a really big opportunity to showcase your state.
Right.
I mean, all of them did. Because the ones that showed up and were all in, phenomenal success. People were just like raving about certain states on how well they were done. Pennsylvania did the same thing. There was a gentleman, if I'm saying the story right, the lady gave me his name to follow up with it. He donated for the time of the fair his antique flags. So they incorporated all those flags in their display and did different, descriptions and stuff like that. Pennsylvania gave out potato chips. Some of the states gave out things that were unique to their state or what their main, manufacturing stuff. I didn't know Pennsylvania even produced potato chips.
I was just going to ask you.
Yeah, I didn't know that. But on the bags, they had like a Wise and some other. They were 4 or 5 different brands, and they were all made in Pennsylvania. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I would have thought it'd be Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, no.
Chocolate.
They did. They did the potato chips. It was, so some of them ad-libbed it and was really cool how they did it. They stepped up to the task.
What was it, from you, attendance-wise, was it a disappointing result or was it above expectation? What do you think the attendance, whether numbers or anticipation or whatever, what do you think?
There was probably, they said on 4th of July, 150,000 plus people there. So I'm just going to say this off the cuff because of different people that we were talking with. One was a minister, and she said the same thing. There was like 149,900 people that were phenomenal and 7 duds.
Yeah.
That you're always going to get that.
Yeah, that.
There's one whining in line, and I'm like, okay, next line, let's just move along. But the other 149,000, whatever, was phenomenal.
I guess we should have 2 lines. One is for the beautiful people, and the other one's for the assholes.
Well, the lady that said that also, we were sitting, and they brought out picnic tables, so the people that organized it, they zigged and zagged with the weather. So they had a lot of stuff that was planned, obviously, and very well planned, and some stuff they had to ad-lib. So the second day when they were ad-libbing, when it was so hot, even hotter than what they predicted, they brought out picnic tables with umbrellas on it. They had buses lined up one after another with the air conditionings crank, and they had water. Ice cold water was nonstop bottles of water.
Free.
Yeah, everything was free. It was all free. You didn't pay for anything. The food prices, considering were reasonable.
Okay, like a hot dog or hamburger. What was it?
Yeah,
$5,
I think the beer was like $5. It
That's
wasn't
reasonable.
over. It was reasonable. It wasn't a real scalping kind of a thing. Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, everybody out there, but I feel like I'm there when Cindy's describing this.
And we even saw Flo Rida as the concert. I mean, they brought in some high, energy people too for the entertainment. It was all free.
The state fair with the pavilions, if you had to give a rough idea of size, what is the average size of because the pavilions are all the same size, each state, right?
Each room. So if you watch, someone else asked me that, if you watch an inauguration where they have the Capitol at the one end,
right,
and then you go all the way down the whole lawn, and it's done like in sections. You'll see. I've been to some inaugurations, and it breaks up in sections, if you will. That's what this is. That's
so
how
this would be.
It was the whole main lawn, the whole mall.
So it's like when you're looking at the mall, you and I call the mall. You got Lincoln Memorial on one end, and was it the Jefferson on the other end?
Washington.
Oh, the monument.
Yeah.
And that's the mall, the water.
We didn't see the reflecting pond that was over on the other side. They used the grassy area there is what they did, where you actually go when you stand if you want to. Well, you want to see him, whoever the president, him or her being in hopefully her inauguration. That's where you stand, and it's grassy and all of that stuff. And the buildings were, of course, temporary. They were made with like a kind of, I don't want to say plastic kind of a thing, and the way it looked like Greek, it was a backdrop like you do at a play. On a stage play.
Oh, stage props.
Yeah, props. So they stapled it to the walls and stuff, and it looked like it was the Lincoln Memorial or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, it was very well done. Yeah.
Cindy, everybody, let's take a short break.
Okay.
I'm so immensely grateful to you, and I hope all of you understand. I'm a little kid when it comes to American history. I love this country and everything to do with it. Forget politics. I'm an American. And I'm just so grateful that I have the privilege of living here and enjoying the benefits. So I'm a little kid when you're talking about the Great American State Fair for the 250th. We'll be right back. This is our Veterans Voice Radio, and happy birthday, United States of America.
I'm Dr. Tim Ioannidis at Treasure Coast Dermatology. At Treasure Coast Dermatology, we believe in the prevention and early detection of skin cancer. We are medical doctors, and we focus on the medical aspects of dermatology. You don't need a sales pitch for Botox, collagen, or wrinkle creams. You need a doctor that cares about you and the health of your skin. We feel by not trying to do too much, we can do more for our patients.
Call toll-free 877-870-DERM. That's 877-870-3376.
Meet Henry Bach, patient of Florida Eye Institute.
After having the cataracts removed, it was a whole new world for me. The colors were brilliant. It was painless. You could almost say it's like being born all over again. When I come in here, it's like coming home. Everyone's so friendly and nice. It's just a wonderful experience.
Are you ready to experience truly exceptional patient care? Florida Eye Institute.
Hey, did you hear the latest about our Florida Highwaymen?
No, what?
There's a Highwaymen Art Gallery in Vero Beach.
Really? Where?
1872 Commerce Avenue.
Wow, when's it open?
7 days a week. Call 954-557-6226 for an appointment anytime.
No kidding?
Just call for your appointment, 954-557-6226, and then go to 1872 Commerce Avenue.
Wow, that's good news.
And welcome back to our Veterans Voice Radio Show. Doesn't that remind you of 1776?
It does. The drummer boy walking in front with the white, and it's amazing. By the way, I got to everybody, and the reason I'm a little enamored with the Ferris wheel, you have to understand, I was raised in Chicago. My first year of college was the first year for Navy Pier. Now, what is Navy Pier?
Yeah.
Well, that was a barracks extending out like a building built on rocks, extending into Lake Michigan, and it was a World War II facility. And after the war, it was given to the city of Chicago, and the city I don't know if they donated or rented it, lent it, whatever. So when the University of Illinois decided to have a campus in Chicago, they needed a temporary one, and it was Navy Pier. So what's the big deal? Well, the Ferris wheel in 1893 for the World's Exposition had the world's first Ferris wheel in Chicago at Navy Pier. And it was huge. But I don't think the one in Washington, D.C. was the same size. But the concept was not new when you saw it last week. But
Right,
1893,
yeah.
it was like, oh, my God, I'm going to go
Yeah.
up on top of that
Yeah.
machine.
Yeah.
And it's going up and down.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's phenomenal. So
Yeah.
that's why these questions. Okay, so now, do you know? No, okay, just to give you an idea, when I did my work, homework, at least 10 states, Connecticut, Illinois, Maine, Massachusetts, North Carolina, Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington, Pennsylvania. But from what I understand, Illinois was there. From what I've reading, and you kind of confirmed that Pennsylvania was.
No, Pennsylvania definitely was, and they
Yeah, so-
they zagged and zigged, and Kansas was another one. I know that for a fact because we interviewed both of those.
Was there any particular order, not alphabetical or statewide? What year they became a state? Or was it all random?
What?
Do you know?
I didn't think about that when I was looking at it.
Uh-huh.
I know on the one section there was North and South Dakota, Montana, that kind of like it
Northwest.
was like Northeast, that kind of thing is what it was.
okay.
Northeast, Midwest,
Okay.
out west, yeah,
All right, so they kind of broke it down
yeah,
into
sections.
either 5 or 6 sections.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now just with a population of pushing 240 million people,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't sound like 150,000 people in one day in one place for the state fair. It doesn't sound like a lot of people. Am I missing something?
Maybe there were more than that, and I don't know what the amount was.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of people there. Thursday when we got there wasn't. And they had some good concerts and that kind of stuff. So we were glad to be there with not a lot of people because we got to see SpaceX. We got to see the Harley-Davidson, the guy that does the custom Harley-Davidson motorcycles.
Right.
He sent 5 of them there, I think it was. We got to see different colleges. We got to see the Patent Trade Office had a big, huge display there showing you how to start your own business. Small
Really?
Business Association was there. One line of the displays was from the departments, the state departments.
Really?
So
Did-
commerce and all of those.
Okay, I don't want to go into detail because we will later. But did the Florida Pavilion have a highwayman painting in there?
They had one like with the oranges and the groves and stuff like
Okay,
that.
well we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Okay, now what about the? You already mentioned about the goodness and whatever, but overall, it was just a bunch of Americans, lots of them, just sharing a happy occasion. Not knowing each other before, a chance I maybe never seen each other again. But for the moment, you were all Americans. You're all enjoying the festivity and the mood of the fair. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was. Fox News was there. You could kind of interact with them. They were up on a booth, on a dais or whatever you
Right.
want, but you could stand right below it and they were talking with the people that were standing there. Those kind of things. It was totally like small-time America.
Okay, as long as you brought that up, you mentioned to me. So let's talk about this.
Okay.
Usually, you have a lot of different media organizations represented in these kind of events.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that who was the media represented at this state fair?
It was Fox is the one that I saw.
Only.
I didn't really, they had 2 sections of the platform where the media could be seated and, broadcast from. That's the only one that we saw.
Okay,
We
by the
didn't
way,
see
everybody
another
out there, this is not going politically.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to a completely different direction based on what Cindy told me before we aired. Tell me about what happened on just before the fireworks on July 4th and with the broadcasting booth from Fox.
So on 4th of July, it got to be where it was going to really storm. So they had to close, and they did it the day before because of the heat. From 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., they closed it down because of the people. It was just too hot. Mm-hmm. And it just, anyway. And on 4th of July, they closed it down because of lightning. They had to.
Oh, yeah.
And they moved everybody from the mall to whatever. If you've been in D.C., they're huge brick, whatever buildings, solid buildings, and a lot of them have government buildings, and they have the basements and shelters and those kind of things. So they moved everybody to whatever building was the closest where the people were. Get them downstairs, get them out of the lightning. We don't want anybody getting hurt. Well, it wound up in the one building. I want to say it was the transportation department building. Fox News correspondents were down there with a whole group of people, and in that group of people, there was like 200 or 300, something like that, maybe. Were World War II veterans that were going to be interviewed. And what Fox did, and I said this, I mean, I think they deserve an Emmy. They created a show with the people that were in that bunker, they called it, with them. And they went around and started interviewing, getting stories from people. The one gentleman, I didn't get his name, Native American gentleman whose grandfather was in World War II, Native American, and he started this. It's like an honor flight kind of thing. And again, I didn't get all the information. You can look it up on their broadcast. And what they do is they fly the veterans to their section where they were fighting. And one of the things that he said that he was the most shocked over in a good way was the guys that they flew back to Vietnam, where they had fought in Vietnam, and he said that they had gotten closure then by going back to where they were to see why they were there and what has happened and those kind of things. And he said he really didn't know that was going to be the end result, the end effect of doing that. But that's what the whole camaraderie was. The one gentleman was 107 years old from World War II. There was one that was 105 or 103. And so that kind of dynamic, and not to make it political, but when President Trump had the opportunity then at 11 o'clock p.m. to make his speech, and he shortened it to before the fireworks, he said he brought one of the 105-year-old gentleman up from World War II and, had him there. And he said, listen, what you guys did in D-Day, you weren't asking questions. You did your duty. You did the due diligence. That's what I'm doing. This fireworks is going to go on. I want you up here represented because of what you did for us back then. And I just thought that was just not political, but just the right thing to do.
Respect.
It was complete respect.
Yes.
And gave the kudos and the microphone and the spotlight to those guys that were there representing the military.
Okay, the veterans we're talking about, did they have like chaperones that were
absolutely
wheeling them? Yeah, good.
Absolutely.
Okay, now on a different subject matter, security. What kind of security did they have? Because I did read that they were very, very apprehensive and cautious about what could have, might have, and it didn't. Fortunate, knock on wood. Mm-hmm. But did you? What kind of security measures did you witness or have to go through?
Well, they had the National Guard there, wall-to-wall National Guard. Uh-huh. They had all kinds of police forces. They
Everywhere.
had the secrets. Yeah, the Secret Service. You knew that's who they were. They did the same thing that they did for this most recent inauguration. They took the snowplows and those kind of trucks and they parked at all the ends of the streets. You couldn't have gotten down the streets if you wanted to.
Okay, that's interesting.
Those kind of things. As far as going through security, everything had to be, if it wasn't a tiny, tiny purse, I mean, I'm talking tiny, it had to be clear.
Meaning
you had to have everything in a clear bag that they could see right through. It had to be everything clear, and it could only be a certain size.
And you were prepared ahead of time.
We had 2 clear backpacks, and I had a tiny little purse that I had my eyeglasses and stuff, and we brought the backpacks for like souvenirs and stuff like that. But yeah, and and they wanded you. You went through metal detectors. It took a little while to do that. On 4th of July, it did.
How many days? Okay, let's take a break and then we'll get back. We're talking to Cindy, our producer, about her attending the Great American State Fair, Washington, D.C. Happy birthday to you. We'll be right back, everybody.
You're the